Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to be with you here in beautiful Cannes. Maybe you could begin with an introduction to your film, Goodbye Julia. Tell us a bit about the story and what audiences can expect.
Thank you, Sarah, for having me. Uh, Goodbye, Julia is a story of how Sudan split into two, taking on the social reasons for the separation rather than the political ones. And I think they're more important than the political ones and played a more vital role in that decision. Um, and but people can expect a story about friendship of two women from either side with a little bit of suspense and I it might sound like a very heavy topic to talk about, but at the same time I think that the film can be entertaining plot-wise, that you would watch it and you just have fun with it.
And of course, even though it's set, going back a few decades, it still seems to raise lots of issues that are pertinent now. What was your motivation to revisit this period in the story on screen, and why was now the right time?
I think the time between 2005 and 2011 was a pivotal time in the history of Sudan. It will always remain in the history books because the country split into two in that transitional period. But it's also, for me, important because it was a missed chance. The Naivasha Peace Treaty was signed in 2005. It gave the Southerners the right to vote for independence or unity, and we had a transitional time to 2011 before they vote. And this period of time, some things happened, but not the important ones. I mean, they shared wealth, they shared governance, they shared power, but no reconciliation happened on the community level. And I think we missed the chance to reconcile back in that time. But as you said, uh, this issue is persistent. I did not make the film with an intention of bringing the South back to the North, but rather blow the whistle that this can happen over and over in Sudan as we know it today.
And tell us a bit about the inspiration behind the specific story that you tell and the characters that you've developed.
The first thought that really sparked the whole thing was when I read the referendum result, which was 99%. I was like, how can a whole nation want to separate from you? And it was very obvious that it's not political reasons, it was more social reasons. So this is the first thought, but it wasn't really a film idea back then, it's just a thought. But then I found that I have changed a lot from 2003 to 2023. And I keep changing. And I found that the change is this transformation process is very interesting. I wanted to write it down. I wanted to um, like portray myself in different stages of my life because I always feel confident of where I am. Now I don't, but back then I always feel confident of my ideas, my values. I can argue that I'm on the right side of everything. Now I'm not, but I felt like it would be interesting to put myself in different characters and just have them debate.
And tell us about how you chose your cast and how did you work with them to achieve your vision?
Um, Iman, who played Mona, I found her by coincidence in a live on video. She was on a live in Facebook singing at a cafe. And she was exactly how I imagined Mona to be. So I looked amongst the people who were at the cafe. I found someone I know. I texted him. I said, "Who's singing?" He said, "Her name is Iman." I said, "I'd like to meet her. I'd like her to be in my film." And luckily enough, she turned out to be very passionate about acting. She has experience in theater, and she got the job on on the first audition. Same thing happened with Serhan, who did Julia. I saw her in an interview. She was interviewed being Miss South Sudan and being a successful model in Dubai. And she seemed very interesting to me. I looked her up on Instagram. I texted her. I told her I'd like to audition you, and she was open to the idea. I flew to Dubai, had a meeting with her, and I found that she was a natural. She can use her own emotions and bring it into the character. The other two are actors. Gerdwani, of course, is an actor in Hollywood. He has some films with Reese Witherspoon, with Dustin Hoffman. He's acted in films in Hollywood. And Nazar also have experience in drama, in Sudanese drama, and in theater. Um, yeah, I have to send him my thanks and my support. He's still in Sudan. He chose to remain to protect his family. So from here, I hope he's doing well.
And tell us a bit about the process of making the film and being on the shoot. What were some of the sort of standout moments that were, most challenging? But on the other side of that, did you have some real highlights?
So many challenges in this film. I don't even know where to begin or where to end this. It's crazy. But um, I mean, we shot in a police station for a whole day. We burnt a house in a neighborhood. We burnt a car. We had a protest on a street on a day that there was a real protest just 300, 400 meters from where we are. And if the police showed up, we'd probably be in a very big problem. So many things that now seem like highlight, but back then, being in the midst of all things, it seemed like things that can really ruin the day for you. We shot in a very turbulent time. There was protests twice a week, three times a week, and whenever there is a protest, security forces would block the bridges. They would throw tear gas, and tear gas many times came into the shooting set, and we had to stop the shoot. So yeah, it was very challenging, but also a very rewarding experience, I think, for all the crew.
And what do you hope people take away from your film in terms of, I guess, what you think some of the key themes are? And how do you think that actually telling very human stories can be a way in for people to understand what are, from the outside, very complex political situations, historical moments that maybe people don't know that much about?
I think that the film doesn't take any sides. If you watch the film, you'd find that there is. I'm not taking any sides, and all the characters seem in the gray zone. They're all flawed in a way. Uh, but what the film is trying to do is to give the audience a new perspective. Even if you disagree with the character, you can understand why he chose to do such things, or you'd understand their decisions. And I think for reconciliation, understanding is very important because it creates empathy and compassion, and this is what we need today.
And finally, what does it mean to you to have your film here? I mean, your feature debut in Cannes. And how do you see kind of the diversity of voices that are here this year? And, a lot of films from Africa, maybe still not enough, but it does feel like, there's more of a spotlight being shown on in different parts of the world.
Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to watch anything. I mean, my schedule is crazy. It's full. But yes, I saw the list of the films. I'm very impressed that there's a lot of films from the Arab world and from Africa. I was impressed in particular to see a Senegalese film that is first for the director, gets a selection in the official competition. Um, Personally, it means a lot to me that my film is in Cannes, because it's such a great reward for all the cast and crew who have worked with dedication and passion. And to see the film in Cannes is nothing less than amazing.